Hi everybody, good to see you.
Hey guys.
We've got a bit of news to share. I think maybe most of our viewers are going to be like screaming at their computers and their phones. But yeah, this airplane is for sale. And it's kind of a weird thing to say that. We've had a lot of reflection, a lot of like really late night discussions, right, over the last year or so. We came to the decision that we're moving in a different direction with our airplane. In order to do that, we have to sell the Pietenpol. Unfortunately, we can't keep two airplanes. So there's like kind of a long, complex story to this. Because if you've watched our channel, you've seen us. We were flying 77041, which is a Cessna 140. And we've also had this airplane. And I know that's confusing because it makes us look like, you know, we have two airplanes, which we kind of did for a while. We bought this airplane in 2018, I think.
Yeah, it was 2017 or 16.
Oh, okay. Well, we bought this airplane in like 2017.
The day that Tango approached me about this idea about purchasing a plane, I thought, wow, okay, how cool. Like, yeah, let's do it. And then he showed me the Pete, and I was like, oh, okay, that kind of a plane. And I still was in love with it. I've always been an outdoor adventurous kind of person to begin with. And the fact that it had two seats in it and it would be fun for the both of us to share was really fun.
Because I'd always wanted an airplane. A Pietenpol was like right in our budget. It's something we could buy for cash and fly for fun.
When he first bought the Pete, I actually wasn't able to fly in it for a couple of years. In fact, I would just watch him, you know, float away, and I'd be like, okay, you know, someday, right? When I had the opportunity to like go on for my first flight, it was one of those moments where you just will never forget. It felt like flying. The wind is like, you know, going against your face, and like, so my hair was like flying everywhere, but even then it was just exciting.
So we had this airplane, it was flying for a while, it was a project for a while. In the meantime of that, we met a guy named Bill Giolma who had a Cessna 140. And he and I got to talking, and he said that if we were willing to get that airplane back into annual, that he'd let us fly it, essentially at cost. So suddenly we had this great opportunity to fly the Cessna 140. It was really great to have that plane because it was the perfect plane for Juliet and I to just throw some gear into and go somewhere. But the other thing it helped with was it also gave us something to fly while we were getting this back in the air. And so once we did get the Pietenpol back in the air, it was kind of like best of both worlds. We have this cool little open cockpit airplane, and we have the 140, which we can go on trips in, because we can't really fit gear and stuff in the Pietenpol.
So I really enjoy being in the Pete, and I love having the wind, you know, blow against my face and like get to kind of go low and see kind of a different view. But I think when we first took our first flight in the Cessna 140, it was like, it just felt like a glove. And it was a little easier to film because I love doing that part of the channel. I love being able to film our adventures. With the Pete, it was really hard. I mean, yes, there was some shots that I could get in, but like with the Cessna, you know, you're in a closed cockpit. You know, there's moments when I was in the 140 where I would look over and we'd have like a moment together because we could see something out our window. It was like a beautiful sunset, or, you know, we're passing over like these epic mountains. And being able to share that experience together was a little bit more exciting for us as opposed to just being like, hey, like, how's it going back there? Like, oh, is my husband still there? Did he fall out of the airplane?
Juliet loves to sit next to me in the cockpit. We love to be able to put several nights worth of camping gear and clothing and go into the backcountry and be able to sustain ourselves based on what's in the airplane. We like the 140 also because it's still like a classic airplane from the 1940s. It's a tail dragger. It can go off airport. And it's also still one of the most affordable airplanes you can own. So I guess what we found was the 140 fit our mission. We throw that word around a lot as owners, but it's really like 90% of the time, what do you do with the airplane? You can do all sorts of adventures in a Pietenpol, especially one like this, but you're gonna be limited on the baggage capacity. When it's just me in the Pietenpol, I can fill the front pit full of stuff. The most fulfilling times that I have is when with Juliet's with me in the airplane. Honestly, it's almost not worth it if you can't share the trip with someone. So recently, about half a year ago, 77041, the Cessna 140, got sold. There was always the understanding that he was going to sell it. So now we were suddenly faced with, well, we're back to being a one airplane family and we have the Pietenpol. It's really led us around to this point where we want to get back into a Cessna 140.
Since we have more cargo space, we can go on more camping adventures, which we absolutely love. We will be able to do more of those trips and be able to share it with all of you, because I think that's one of the other things we've enjoyed, is being able to go on these adventures and be able to share it with the community and show people like, hey, this is what you can do in a small plane.
But the other very sad part about it is it means we got to sell this airplane, and it's like putting one of your children up for adoption. Quite frankly, that's what it feels like, you know, because we do I mean, you'd agree, we loved this airplane. When we first bought this airplane, I don't think we really clearly had an idea about, okay, what specifically it is that we do with an airplane. That's another thing, is I got it very early after I'd learned to fly. We didn't even know that Juliet was gonna become like so enthusiastic about flying with. Well, I had an inkling, but so the mission evolves and you evolve as a pilot and your needs evolve. So one of the biggest takeaways is learning to take care of an airplane, and not just take care of it like hand the keys to a mechanic and go, here, fix my airplane, but literally I've had to do fabric work. I've had to repair stuff inside the wings. I've had to do sheet metal. I've had to learn to do all this stuff, and it's taught me a lot about really owning an airplane and making it a part of yourself. It's going to be sad to see it go, you know. But anyway, it's got my own blood, sweat, and tears in it, and we're hoping the next caretaker has the same amount of passion to give to keeping up 103 Hotel Delta.
I won't lie, I am really sad to see the Pete go, but I think it's because it becomes a part of you. You know, you've watched the person that you love work so hard to get it to where it is, and like, I think it's in one of the videos where I have like a moment where I'm crying because he finally flew it, and to see that, like, is really cool. So I think that's something I will miss the most. I think the fact that he did work so hard on it to get to where it is now, and it's like in the most mint condition you'll ever have. I will say I will miss the adventures, but I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited for this new chapter of our flying adventures. I just know that there's going to be someone out there that will treat it just as well as we did when we had her.
We're in the middle of a pre-buy, and we're going to see how that goes, but as of now, the airplane's for sale. Even if you picture yourself as someone who'd love to take care of an airplane like this and go on adventures in it, you know, you can send us a message if you want. I think one of the things we're really passionate about is finding someone who will really respect the airplane. So hopefully we're going to find that person very soon. We do have big plans for the channel and for the kind of cinematic flying experiences we want to make. We also want to document just what it's like, life with an airplane, and sharing that experience with you guys. I personally also want to start sharing some stuff about building airplanes and doing that kind of cool stuff. She talked about how I've gotten to wrench on this airplane, and I think there's also something else we're going to build too.
Is it the hat?
You spoiled it.
It's all right.
It may or may not be a hat.
There's a lot of swearing involved.
There's a whole lot of swearing. Covered in sweat and hydraulic fluid, crawling around like a friggin' monkey. Okay, friends. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. If you have questions or anything about us selling the airplane, or you just want to yell at us for selling the Pietenpol, you can put it in the comments and or drop us a line, and we'll see you very soon on the next adventure. I think that's it. I think we got what we need to get.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. See you later. Look, I'm Trent. Look, we're Trent Palmer. You're so tall.
I'm trying to slouch.
Wow.
I go sitting on a bucket of
I'm sitting
oil.
on a bucket.
You're so cute.
I am a precious.
Sitting on your
I am
bucket.
precious sitting on my bucket. There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza.
Was it Lila or Liza?
Liza.
Oh.
Who's
I thought it
Lila?
was Delilah.